TIFU by saving a topless woman from drowning. So this happened yesterday. My family, wife, kids and in-laws, and I had just returned from a pontoon cruise for the evening. It was later than usual, so I sent the wife up on the golf cart with the kids and in-laws to get them some dinner while I covered up the boat. About halfway through covering up the boat, I noticed someone halfway across the cove in the water all on their own, and she appeared to maybe be in distress. She wasn't making progress swimming one way or the other and occasionally going underwater. There were people on the opposite shoreline yelling at her, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. I yell asking if she needs help, and she says yes. I call my wife and tell her to come down on the cart. Someone is in the water and needs help. I'm going in. I might need help getting the person out. I put on a life jacket and grab the throw cushion from the boat. I swim out to the person and pass off the throw cushion. She appears out of breath. First thing she says to me is I'm topless. I respond with okay, but are you okay? I also immediately think to myself my friends are never going to believe this too. What is my wife going to think with a topless woman swimming to shore with me? She then says she's running from her boyfriend who is messed up. She also asks if it's shallow enough to touch yet. It wasn't going to be. I help her to the dock where my wife meets us. She tells my wife I'm sorry, but I don't have a shirt on. Again my wife just asks if she's okay, and she tells us the boyfriend story again. Sure enough, as she gets out of the water she is topless, but she is carrying a white shirt that she quickly throws on. She then immediately begins running to shore. At the same time we notice a pontoon cruising towards our dock yelling at us. At first I think this must be her boyfriend chasing her, and we are in the middle of some domestic dispute. They quickly get closer, and I realize it's two sheriff deputies who flagged a pontoon down to carry them across the lake. As they are jumping onto the dock we notice the girl had just jumped into our golf cart and was riding away on it. Apparently she was allegedly involved in a string of burglaries and the boyfriend she was running away from was the cops. I had unknowingly aided her swim across the lake to escape, and she used our golf cart as jetaway. The cops chased her for a while through the night tracking her down once more, but she escaped again. We looked all day for the golf cart today with no luck. I notified insurance if the theft around lunch. About an hour ago someone notified us through social media that it was parked behind a house in a neighborhood over. So we recovered the cart, and it seems okay. They put more warrants out for the suspect and are still looking for her. TLDR. Thought I was saving a topless woman in distress, but unknowingly aided a crook in escaping the police. I was heading into a Circle K once and saw this guy struggling toward the door with 230 packs of beer. So I opened the door and held it for him. Turns out he was stealing them. Was he topless too? Now that you mention it. Topless person on the run interesting. It's a guy not interesting, he's got a lot of beer interesting. I'd be telling that story for the rest of my life lol. Already imagining this dude sitting on a rocking chair at 60. 6 young kids surrounding him while he tells his heroic tale. And boys, she was topless. Apostrophe. I'm still not clear why she was topless, and each theory seems equally crazy. 1. Exhibitionist burglary ? 2. Really trying to sell the boyfriend line ? 3. Was topless on a boat when she noticed it was police on the pontoon boat approaching her and just jumped ship without it ? 4. Dove into the water. It fell off and she didn't have time to recover it. I'm thinking #3 is the most likely given that she had a t-shirt with her, but it's still up in the air. Have you ever tried swimming with clothes? She probably tried to be fast and reduce exhaustion over time, or she tried to use a psychological factor, creating a socially awkward situation that prevents further questions, but I guess that is a bit more unlikely lol. I wish I had a golf cart. Half the internet has golf cart envy and the other half has sortits envy. That's roughly all of us. I'm good at math. Probably more than all of us. I know I count in both groups. What about the third demographic? Sortits bouncing in a wet white shirt while riding a golf cart? You did not F up. That's a hell of a story you got now. Totally worth it, wasn't it? Agreed, no foo here. Could a decent person do any less? Hey, even a thief doesn't deserve to drown. Agreed. As someone who almost drowned once, I agree even my worst enemy doesn't deserve to drown. What was it like? I've heard of a calm that overtakes you at some point. Airy as hell. Welp. You did the right thing thinking she was actually in distress. But man, what a piece of work she is. I mean, she was actually in distress. She just lied about why she was in distress. Yeah. It sounds from the story that she actually might risk drowning trying to escape the cops if OP didn't help. And that's still a life saved. That's assuming she was actually struggling to stay afloat and that the cops weren't close enough behind though. Oh yeah. For sure. If OP hadn't seen her struggling and stepped in to rescue her, she may have drowned or wound up in the hospital. So, good deed on his part. But then she stole his golf cart after he saved her life. I get the feeling we are all imagining this woman as far more attractive than she objectively may be. Why kill the dream? But why was she topless? Most likely because she wasn't wearing anything to cover her upper body. Once you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Florida? Nah, they older recorded it and laughed while drowning. Hi. Can you explain the deal with Florida? I'm not an American, but I see this Florida joke all over and can't understand it. I think it's mostly from the crime headlines that sound like something more out of The Onion than actual real life. It's gained meme status with Florida Man. Just check out /r/Floridaman to get an idea. You mean like Florida Man stabs girlfriend in fight over hot dog. She made a boob out of you. That's the best way to put it. It is definitely true. These comments won't be forgotten. They will stay in my memory forever. How were the titties? Why was she even topless in the first place? We are all wondering as well. The cops were surprised too. Father-in-law thinks maybe, to blend in better in the water, white shirt was giving her away. This story is a certified hood classic. I'd be looking forward to the lineup. Did they look like those? No, officer. None of them. I guess you'll have to round up 6 more women for me. Which part of Florida do you live in? Florida lakes have gators. We normally don't swim in lakes. I'll let a lady drown because the whole wife versus another woman's boobs situation equals bad karma. Yeah, I know, said no one. Ever. You did the right thing. Obviously the woman has behavioral and psychological issues. And you can almost certainly add $1 per drugs and abuse to the mix. It's how you act to the least of us that determines who you really are. Even after all that, I really do think she was at risk of drowning. She was tired. She couldn't tread water forever, and it's a long swim across the cove if you aren't a strong swimmer. Drugs also cold been involved, but I don't know for sure. Edit. In other words, thinking back on it now, people can be stupid trying to outrun cops, and trying to swim too long cold resulted in a bad result, even if it's not initially what I thought was going on. It's better to let a guilty person run free than let an innocent person drown. It's better to let a guilty person run free than to let a guilty thief drown. Plot twist. The boyfriend was the deputy. Well, regardless of the outcome, you did the thing most people don't do, which is put on a life vest and bring a PFD for the victim. So many people drown by the victim pulling them down. Good point. We don't know all the details either, but taking the boat out would have been safer for the rescuer than swimming too, and likely faster to reach the victim. This crossed my mind, but boat keys were with my wife, who initially was up with the golf cart at the house. Plus untying the boat and backing it out of the dock takes a minute. And yes, Boy Scouts taught me well that the drowning victim can drown the rescuer. I have 3 kids. I don't want to drown even for a topless woman. As someone in insurance, had that golf cart crashed out something, we should all be entertained for the day reading the claim reports in specific detail. When I initially submitted the theft claim, the State Farm guy specially mentioned how much he enjoyed hearing it on a Saturday morning. Luckily now I get to call them and say it's found. You helped a fellow human being survive. That is a great thing. Never feel bad about this. She might be a crook, but you might still have saved a life. There's still something to be said for that. This is the most upper class TIFU there ever was. Congratulations op. Yeah. He had insurance. Can you believe that shit? Holy s dude, this was a wild red. Real question is whether one of the cops was the boyfriend. You're joking, but that was a real story a bit ago. An abusive cop charging his GF with bogus crimes after she ran. So she couldn't get away from him. And totally backed up by the other cops, of course. This is just op casually bragging about having a boat and a golf cart. /JK. Don't forget a neighborhood on a lake where they can drive the golf cart to the docks. I don't see a ref up. You still potentially saved a person from drowning. I have a similar story. I was driving one day and came up to an intersection. A car in front of me wasn't moving and the people in it were audibly fighting. Suddenly, the woman in the car jumps out, runs to my passenger door and jumps in. Completely naked, yelling drive, drive. He's going to murder me. I backed up a little and pulled into the petrol station on the corner just to get some space between me and the dude. And suddenly there were police cars everywhere surrounding my car and the car this woman had gotten out of. The cops lined us all up and they asked me who I was and what I had to do with these people, and I said nothing. She just jumped in my car and then I moved it to here. And then they let me go after making sure she hadn't stolen anything out of my car. I have no idea what was going on. And naked in a nasty meth hag. Throw out the seat cover and disinfect the car kinda way. You didn't used to have to lock your car doors in Australia. That's one hell of a twist. I was expecting something more like your wife thinking you are cheating. I thought this was going in another direction. Mate, you did the right. How could you know that some random drowning person is a criminal who is being chased? You acted on principle, and I hope the next time someone needs your help you won't hesitate. No possible burglary is worth an innocent person's life. This is something out of a bad cartoon. Oh, Benny Hill. Straight up.